So we have notes 0.2, evaluating expressions and equations. First, we're going to evaluate expressions. So you're going to evaluate each expression if A equals 12, B equals 9, C equals 4. As you can see, we already have some examples done for you. So this is saying A is equal to 12, so that means I'm going to replace this A here with a 12, which is exactly what I did. Then we see that B equals 9, so I replace this B with the number 9. Then we had C equals 4, which is what I did. I replaced this C here with a 4. The next thing I did was I first found 12 squared. So what I did is in my calculator, I did 12 squared, and there's 144. Then we did 4 squared, so I do 4 squared. That's how I got 16. Then I have 144 plus 9, and I got 153, and then 153 minus 16, we get 137. So that's how I got my final answer. So were you still using those? Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally's. Looking at the next one here, again, I replaced this A with the number 12. I replaced this C here with the number 4, and then I replaced the B here with the number 9. Okay, now you got to be careful. I have a little love note here that maybe you should write too. 2C is 2 times C, so that's why I have the little multiplication dot there. So the first thing we're going to do is parentheses, so we do 12 plus 9, which gives us 21. And then now we're left with 2 times 4 times 21, because remember, once the number is by itself, that means the parentheses is now representing multiplication. So first I want to start on the left to the right, so 2 times 4 first gives me 8, and then I do 8 times 21, which gives me 168. Now let's do one totally together. So let's look at number 3. We have A squared over 4B plus C. So again, I'm going to replace this A squared. I'm going to make it 12 squared over 4. And then remember, this is 4 times B, so 4 times 9 plus my letter C here in this case is 4. So 12 squared, I already know from earlier, that gives me 144 over 4 times 9 plus 4. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the multiplication on the bottom of my fraction here. So 4 times 9 is 36. So 144 over 36 plus 4. We still have a division here because remember the fraction bar means division. So 144 divided by 36 is 4. So now we have 4 plus 4. Hopefully we know that off the top of our head is 8. So that's how you do these type of problems. If you need the other 3 examples, we'll do those after you're done with your Ed puzzle. Next up, we have evaluating functions. So you evaluate if f of x equals 3x minus 4 and g of x equals 2x squared minus 3x. So in our first problem, we have f of 2. So that means we're going to use this equation, and we're replacing this x and this x with the number 2. Same letter, you replace it with the same number. So that's what I did. I did 3, and I replaced the x here with the number 2, and then I minus the 4. So now I use my PEMDAS skills. So I do 3 times 2, 6. We're left with subtraction, so we can do 6 minus 4, and that gives us a final answer of 2. So f of 2 equals 2. It will not always equal the same thing. That just is happenstance. Next up, we have g of 4. So that means we're going to use this equation. So that means we're replacing this x with the number 4, this x with the number 4, and this x with the number 4, which is exactly what I did. I replaced the 2 x's in my equation with the number 4. So parentheses first, there's no work in my parentheses, so now I do 4 squared because I do my exponents next. 4 squared gives us 16, so that's where that 16 came from. So now we have 2 times 16 minus 3 times 4. I do the 2 times 16 first, and that's how I get the 32. Then I do the minus 3 times 4, which is how I get the minus 12. And then I do 32 minus 12, which gives me the 20. So my final answer is G of 4 equals 20. Basically, it's saying when I plug in 4 for the G equation, I would get 20. In this one, when I plug in the 2 for the F equation, I would get 2. I have 2 more here for us to try out. So this time it's asking me to replace all the x's with a negative 4. So using my equation, I have 2, replacing my x with a negative 4, square it, minus 3, and then replace the x with a negative 4. And now I do some math. So I'm going to figure out so negative 4 squared. You always want to put, if you got to square a negative, put it in a parentheses, and I got 16. So I got 2 times 16 minus 3 times negative 4. Then I do 2 times 16 because now I'm doing my multiplication for my order of operations, which we know from earlier is 32, minus 3 times negative 4. I didn't mess with that, so I'm going to bring it down. Now we're going to do this negative 3 times negative 4. So negative 3 times negative 4. This gives you 12, and it's a positive 12. So now we're going to write plus 12. And then 32 plus 12 gives us 44. So my G of negative 4 ends up equaling 44. Let's look at number 11 here. So number 11, they actually give us the equation. And it's saying W of t equals negative 2t plus 4. Find W of negative 10. So that means I'm going to replace this t with a negative 10. So we get negative 2 times negative 10, because remember 2t, this means negative 2 times negative 10. You can use the dot multiplication symbol. I'm just a big fan of the parentheses whenever I replace a letter. And then that plus 4. So the only thing that changed was the t. Now I have to do negative 2 times negative 10. So in my calculator here, negative 2 times negative 10. And that gives me 20. So now we're left with 20 plus 4, because this was the only math we did. We bring down that 4. This gives us 24 for our final answer. So W of 10 equals 24. Okay? All right, if you understand what's happening, do your exit ticket and then get started on your homework. If you need a couple more examples, we will go through these last few together.